Hello. This is the Dancing Queen episode, I think, of Catchupcast. Isaac's shaking his head. I guess that's gone.
You don't start these right. Pick it up. Pick it up or I will.
No, it's the school.
I'll pick it up.
No, I
It's
don't.
probably your parent.
Oh no, it's just someone from your.
So pick it up.
No, I don't want to.
I'm literally gonna do it.
No, don't answer that. We're doing a podcast. This is so rude.
Hello, this is the MACT resident. Hello? Hello?
All right, so no one's on the phone. That was a really good bit that could have happened, and it just didn't happen. We're starting off a great episode here.
I love it.
You're listening to Catchupcast, the podcast where, believe it or not, we do not discuss condiments.
So this is a big episode.
Maybe we
listeners.
should explain.
You may be hearing a voice that isn't me or Isaac. That's pretty crazy.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself to our
Oh my goodness.
two listeners?
I would absolutely love to. Hi, listeners. Hi, me in the future when I listen to this.
Oh shit! Time travel.
Oh, that's so meta. Oh my god. Hi, I'm Matt or Matilda. I went to high school with Ethan and Isaac, and since we're all home for winter break and I wasn't doing anything, I decided that I would come over and be their first guest on Catchupcast, and I'm really excited.
So we've never had a guest before. Actually,
We did, well,
we had the random voice on the phone.
at one time when somebody picked up the other phone line.
And you heard
it
their
was
voice
like,
for a split second.
Oh, sorry, and then closed it.
So you're our second guest.
Well,
Sorry.
that's fine.
This is embarrassing.
It's
this was
that's
supposed to be a
okay.
big deal,
It's
but you're not.
Or the time we had the guest construction crew on.
Oh,
making all that
that's
noise
true. In our
the
10th anniversary, 10-year anniversary episode.
10-year anniversary episode. 10-year anniversary episode, our quinceañera episode.
Dancing Queen episode.
Why
Why can't I do that? Why can't I say Dancing Queen if you can say quinceañera on our 16th episode?
Is it because she's only 17 and this is 17?
Yes, that's
Alright, fair enough.
sponsored by ABBA. You ever just listen to ABBA?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great.
It slaps. Like,
There's not a single
Slaps?
ABBA song
yeah,
that
like
isn't
it
a
goes
bop.
hard.
What is that?
It's a good
It's
song.
just like it slaps. Like it's really good.
I've never heard somebody use the
No.
You
word
can use this on your
slaps.
field semester now.
Get on
You
Twitter.
can.
Get on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Well,
Twitter's a nightmare.
Yeah.
The internet's a nightmare. Life is a nightmare. But anyway, we've gotten off track, which is the norm, I think.
yeah.
I don't know if Catchupcast has a track. So yeah, Matt went to high school with us years and years and years ago.
Like 3 years ago.
No, they can't know how old we
Decades
are.
ago?
3 decades ago. We're 30.
That wouldn't
Yeah,
even
but
be
if they
true.
say
We're 40.
3 years ago, that doesn't mean like, I will calculate the exact day.
We've
that they
got some
graduated.
stalkers.
Also, they could definitely...
Oh yeah, they could look
Well,
us up and
yeah.
very easily figure out.
Let's not give them any
Don't do that though.
Uh,
That's illegal.
I went to high school with you guys, redacted, years ago.
Redact.
We'll put in the
This
bleep.
one time... this one time I totally just shouted out where I went to school.
Twice.
But like I realized I said it, and I was like, yeah, when I'm up at blank school, and then Ethan had to go in and edit it, and then like 2 sentences later, I was like, yeah, up at blank school. Oh no, I can't believe I said that. But
And one of our running gags, which I don't know if we've gotten to yet, is one of our bits, I should say.
bits.
When we bleep something out, as you requested, it's the Charlie Brown trombone sound effect.
Yes, that's right.
How many of our episodes have you listened to?
Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot or
Probably
anything.
No, you're on the spot.
5, maybe.
Okay.
Because I listened to the first 2 or 3 in one chunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to your latest one, on a mountain going on. Last night before I went to bed. So.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mountain.
Well, I wanted to be caught up, but not too caught up.
Sure.
I mean, it's important to be
So-
caught up because this is Ketchup. I'm sorry. No,
Oh.
no, that's officially. I'm done.
But
All right, thanks for listening to our podcast.
Have a great day.
yeah. Yeah. But you get the point of that. It's so that me and Ethan can stay in touch while we go to school, and
Far,
we
far
wouldn't
away.
we wouldn't be able to maintain our friendship if we didn't have a reason to talk
Yeah.
to each other, which is this podcast.
The past 16 episodes are the only thing
Holding
keeping our
us
friendship
together.
together.
Really, I
And
wouldn't call you.
You're going off to the desert now, and I don't know
Going
what
off
our
to
friendship
the
is going to
desert.
do. You're going off to desert. You have any desserts to eat in the desert planned?
I've got some good plans for desserts.
That's cool. What's everyone's favorite dessert? This is an important topic.
Ooh.
Timbits.
Topical. It's not topical for anybody listening at
No,
home.
this is an audio format podcast.
But we do have a box of Timbits in front of us right now.
People don't know what
For
Timbits
the
are.
uninitiated, Timbits are donut holes from Tim Hortons,
Yeah.
the hit Canadian donut shop.
Who's a hockey
It's not
player?
really a donut.
Tim Horton was a hockey player for the
It's not necessarily a donut
Maple Leafs?
shop. I mean, it's Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop.
You got some good voices.
Yeah, I did the customer service voice, but also I hate it
Yeah.
more than
Oh.
I've ever hated
I
anything.
don't like.
Well, I gotta listen to myself talk like that.
Is that how you talk to
all
customers?
the time at work? Hi, welcome to Redacted.
Welcome
What
to
can I get for you today?
the place I
Yeah,
work.
absolutely. I would love to help you with this question that you could have just Googled yourself.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's really good.
I feel belittled.
You should.
I don't know if I had a customer service. Have you ever worked customer service?
Yes, but no. Every job is customer service.
That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
camp is
Not to like. Yeah,
the customer is
Every-
always right.
but you have different customers at different times. Sometimes your customers are like what you do on the phone doing a thing, but other times your customers are like out on a canoeing trip for 4 days and it's raining and you're like, well, I still got to provide some experience for these folks.
Let's sing a song. But you wouldn't have like a voice,
No, I wouldn't change my voice at all. I haven't gotten used to hearing my voice on the podcast so much. I don't recognize it as my own voice, so I don't know.
I find it's easier to edit if I don't recognize it as my own voice.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is just a podcast I've been hired to edit. That's not me speaking.
It's not that horrible squeaking
Oh,
sound.
God. Oh, no.
Voice crack.
See, that's funny because when I listened to the first couple episodes, even though I hadn't seen you in like literally like over a year, I
Mhm.
heard immediately, and I was just like, "Oh, it's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same.
It's these people that I've known for
It's-
most of my life."
Huh.
Well, and that's the vibe we're going for. We're your friends. We're here to
Right,
hang out with you, and you can listen to us talk and not join in because it's an audio format and you can't respond
But-
to us.
Yeah.
Isn't that true, though, that hearing your voice as it is recorded and played back to you is what other people hear?
Yes.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
at any
Well,
time?
because your voice, you hear it, like the vibrations in your head, I think they deepen
It
it.
deepens it because you can.
So you
hear
hear
the
your own voice
resonance
deeper
in
than it
your
actually is in real life.
chest
Mhm.
and in all the airy
Okay.
voids in your flesh.
The void returns.
Well, you know, the
voids.
sinus, the lungs.
I got a lot of void.
the
Nasal cavity.
that's what I was trying to think
The
of.
stomach, that's a void.
Sure.
Probably not relevant.
Well, it's
It is a void.
My heart.
Oh, no. I just want joy.
Yeah.
I
Well-
haven't smiled in so long.
That's yeah. It's good to know what I sound like, I guess.
Sound like you.
Um,
Here we have a rendition of My Heart Will Go On. We're going to get sued now.
Oh no.
can't even.
Oh, we're gonna get flagged for copyright.
Yeah, this happens a lot.
Probably not.
No. No one's flagged this yet, and I've used only Creative Commons music.
Well, I mean, what have you been? I feel like we just jammed right into it. Like we're totally just like getting along like we, or like just being casual friends like we were back in the day, you know.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
But in reality, we've done a lot of stuff between now and then, right?
God, we have.
I'm going to get more water.
I mean,
Probably.
especially collectively between the three of us, we've done
We've done so many bits.
so many
Do
things.
you want more water?
I'm good.
Matt, do you want anything?
No, I have a hot chocolate.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ethan keeps on doing this thing where he gets up in the middle of a podcast. and-
is important.
and
you
leaves
should
it to
know this.
me.
You're a Boy Scout.
Hydrate before you dehydrate.
Exactly.
And I don't know why he thinks I'm in.
Well, it's not just you now. You and Matt have a conversation while I get water.
Oh my God, that's true.
Have a conversation while I hydrate. My
Wow.
goodness.
Oh wow, this is a mess.
Oh, I mean, it's not like anybody's listening. Like,
not like
for
any-
the editing technique. Like,
It's a good point. Sometimes I say things just so I can make Ethan edit the podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot of edits I have to do.
Uh,
Had to edit some things I said
Yeah.
recently.
which one was that?
Uh,
Oh, the one we just did.
no, a couple episodes ago where I made some jokes that out of context could sound really bad.
Seems like a habit of
Yeah,
yours.
well.
Well,
Ah.
Matt, tell us a story.
A story.
A story.
Okay. Oh, now my brain is empty and I can't remember anything I've done ever.
I gave you homework and you didn't do
I
it.
wrote down 3 things.
You got some things. You got some bits?
I wrote down 3 things.
What's a bit?
One of them is a video that I made Ethan watch yesterday, which is an official...
We can talk about it. I'm not having Disney to us.
No, which is an official Disney release short about Mickey and Minnie Mouse getting vored by Goofy.
What's bored?
Okay, so vor...
Oh, God. We're talking about Vor on my podcast.
I am
was
totally out of this.
Okay, so like in the furry kind of circles,
okay.
vor is usually when one character that's usually like a snake or a dragon or something swallows another character whole.
Gotcha.
So they don't like die. It's kind of like a fetish thing. Just
Detachable jaw type deal.
Just slurp. There they go.
Okay.
Into the gullet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a video that is on the official Mickey Mouse YouTube.
It's official.
Do you know, like it's
got a blue
actually,
check
like,
mark.
It's a sketch. Like this is a
This is
video
real.
that Disney made
Wow.
and released to the public, in which the gag is like Mickey and Minnie go out to dinner and Goofy shows up and you're like, "Oh, Goofy, you invited yourself along. We're trying to have a date. That's rude."
Third
And
wheel and
it's-
hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm just so lonely.
One thing leads to another, and Goofy eats like the table they were sitting at, and Minnie, and it's like, I'll say, and just so the
Climbs right in.
yeah. So the short ends with Mickey and Minnie sitting at the table inside Goofy's stomach, and they go, "You know what 2 people do when they're alone together? Blow out the candle, fades to black. You get like an outside shot of Goofy with his stomach like hugely expanded, and then it ends."
Goofy's not even a reptile, though.
No,
I know,
Goofy's just a
but, like,
hungry dog.
I mean, it's
Ever since
it
Max
doesn't
left, he's
necessarily-
needed someone to hang out with.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a reptile that like does the eating, but
Okay.
it's usually like a dragon or like an inflated animal of some kind.
Wow.
The more you know.
This is
I
strange.
yeah.
Yeah, Matt showed it to me yesterday. It's real. It looks like something some college student with too much free time would put together,
Yeah, it really.
but it's Disney.
Isn't that what we all are, anyways?
I mean, that is what Catchupcast is, right? But it's just like Disney put this out.
Mhm.
Disney was like, "Hey, what's a fun scenario? Goofy eats Mickey and Minnie."
Like someone storyboarded it. Someone
Someone
took it-
storyboarded
Someone
it.
had to approve that.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Someone had to draw that.
That was money they spent
It was
there.
animated. They
That's funny.
released. It got all the way to being released to
Huh.
the public, and it's still up on the
Wow.
Mickey Mouse YouTube channel with a bunch of other Mickey Mouse shorts.
But none that bad.
No, nothing.
My favorite thing about the Mickey Mouse
Mouse.
shorts is probably the buttons.
Yeah,
Like the shorts, like
Pretty-
the clothing.
pretty. Wow, that was a good joke. That was a good bit. I am so glad I got to hear that with my own 2 ears.
Speaking of bits, this is a question that's very near and dear to me, and I hope you guys make the correct choice.
Okay.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Defend your answer.
No comment.
Nope, you have to answer.
No comment.
This is important.
It has to depend on your definition of a sandwich.
How do you define a sandwich?
Because if you define a sandwich as any fillings in between slices of bread, a
Mm.
bun
One's not
that's connected,
Okay,
not
but
sliced
if
in
you disconnect
half,
the bun,
well then why
does it
would
then
become a
it's gonna be
sandwich?
sloppy.
But yeah, then no one eats a hot dog like that on
Sometimes the bun
purpose.
just rips.
Well, yeah, but that's an accident. That's not how God designed it.
It's not how it.
Hot
it's
dogs
not
are a
how it
sandwich.
was
Not-
intelligently designed
That's
into the
not how
world.
it was meant to be.
Is a hot dog a taco then?
A taco?
No.
Are you?
Well, and this is the argument.
What?
Is if it's a connected bun,
I can say quinceanera, but you can't say a hot dog.
a hot dog is a sandwich. Is a burger a sandwich?
No, it's a
Because
burger.
some people qualify burgers as
It's
sandwiches.
a burger, but with an E.
I mean,
A hamburger. Have you
a
seen that?
hamburger,
a
yes.
burger.
Hortdorg. Hey guys, come to my barbecue. We got burgers and Hortdorgs. We're gonna throw some frisbee. Play some croquet. And eat sorlid.
Sorlid.
Macaroni sorlid. Macaroni sorlid.
I was fine up until the
I don't like it.
sorlid.
I don't like this.
This is a sordid tale of this.
Oh god.
Nah.
Alright, I'm glad you're both wrong.
Okay, well.
What else do I
But maybe it's like, okay, because you can say, like, if I put literally anything, like, between some bread, like, it's a sandwich. But, like, I feel like it's so, like, pedantic to
What about a
actually
bread bowl?
get down into... Okay, a bread bowl is not a sandwich.
Bread bowl is 100% not a
Bread bowl
sandwich.
is... It's got
Although,
bowl
now
in
I'm
the
thinking
name.
about my definition.
Is a bread bowl a taco?
I have to do some soul searching.
Ethan?
I have to do some soul searching.
Huh? Is a bread bowl a taco now, Ethan?
I didn't mean to start
A
this.
soup
I guess I
taco.
did because I asked the question.
Yeah, come on.
Soup taco. No, it's actually like a hard shell taco, like a shell, and someone just like ladling
Oh,
tomato soup into it or
gross.
something. Like,
Okay.
hey, we're having grilled cheese and tomato soup tacos today.
Wait.
Oh
Oh
no!
god.
Grilled cheese bread bowl, tomato soup.
Yo.
Did you put it all together?
That's the
Hey, that's not a
future.
bad idea.
Isn't that great?
Panera, get on.
Yeah, Panera,
If you're listening,
and we know you are. Sponsor us.
Mr. Panera.
Sponsor us, and you can do this. Jerry Panera. Genera for short.
Oh man.
We're a show with many friends named Jerry.
Please call me Jerry. Mr. Panera was my father.
Oh wow.
Good stuff. Good quality content.
Okay, great.
As you get a bit. 'Cause
Uh,
Matt and I got lists. We're prepared.
I think we should just roll with that. I'm cool with just commenting on your folks' lists.
Yeah, what's on your list?
I got like a thousand
clearly
different things.
The soup taco.
What's actually this isn't a bit. It's a bit. It's not something we can discuss. It's just something that I thought needed to be read.
Okay.
The other day, Isaac.
Is it a poem?
It could be. I'd say this could qualify as a poem.
Is it Wild Geese by Mary Oliver?
I wish. So, Isaac, the other day, you and I went to a friend's house, and you texted me to ask when and where that was happening.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Okay,
yes.
And the text, I just want to read your stream of text because they're very good. So you said, yo, we still doing something at 2:30? And I said, I think so. And this is where the poem begins.
Okay.
Isaac says, and these are all, I'm going to pause between each separate text. Cool. We'll be there and won't be square. I will be very much round. Well-rounded. Circular. Shaded in circular. Hole. Black hole. The world is going to be eaten by a black hole. We are all going to die. Die is what we will do. Existential crisis. Crisis starts with a C. And this was all like within the span of probably 40 seconds.
That's just a word association exercise. Like,
I was in a mood.
Like I'm making myself lunch and I'm just getting this stream of like existential dread text slowly devolving into just madness.
Yeah, I was in a mood.
Yeah.
God, if that ain't me.
So thank you for the first poem of yours to be featured
Oh my God.
on Catchupcast.
That's what I'm known for.
If that's what you're known for.
If you just had like a dude with a cigarette, like in a beanie, like reading that as slam poetry, you know, like there
You'd
would be
win.
people in the audience who are like, "Oh my
Oh,
God."
yes.
Wow.
Or
Snap it out.
it's a black and white scene. You've got like the blinds, light streaming through it, but it's like the blinds, so there's lines. You know what
Filtered light.
Yes.
I mean? Guys, fedora over his head.
No.
Only the lower half of his face is illuminated. Cigar smokes all around him. It's like a film noir voiceover with that playing.
You want to take a stab at that? Take a stab at the film noir
No, I
twist on that.
I
This
very
is an
much
audio.
don't.
This is an audio format.
You did a good job describing it, though. There's some good description.
I mean, let me look through the text again. Maybe I can bring out film noir.
Film noir himself.
That's what you wanted to bring up? You wanted to roast me?
Yeah, well, no, absolutely.
Want to straight up slander me?
Yeah, well, slander's not illegal.
What?
Slander's not illegal.
Isn't it?
You're not a political figure. I'm not like
Oh.
Anyways.
Anything
on your list?
defamation on
Anything
our
on-
That
podcast.
brings the question, like, of how whenever someone says, like, yeah, that's not legal because you're not, like, famous enough or you're not a politician or whatever, how important do you have to be to get assassinated versus just regular murder? Do you know what I mean?
That's a good
Like,
question.
That's a good
Is it a
point.
money thing?
where's-
Is it a
that's
status
the-
thing?
Yeah, like, where's the cutoff? Like,
I don't think it can't be a money thing because you hear about billionaire. Well, in stories, it's like a local billionaire murdered.
right.
Right. I feel like it's whatever they want to publish about you, though.
I suppose.
That
Yeah,
is
but-
in the media. I mean,
But
I mean,
if you're reading, the New York Times and college student assassinated in Podunk, Kentucky,
Right.
like, oh, whoa.
You have some questions.
because that's a big deal. Well, also murder and assassination are different, right? Assassination is like
Well, that's the question. Is assassination for
Political.
mean? Hold on, let me Google that.
I mean, within
Yeah.
fiction, there's like people who are paid assassins, right? They take a
Right.
gig to kill someone.
Yeah.
Head government official, straight murked.
Oh man, USA Today is crazy today.
Define assassination.
All right,
Oh, no.
what do we got? What do we got?
The FBI doesn't already listen to this podcast.
The FBI is shut down right now. We can say whatever we want.
That's not how that works. I hope you know that.
Google gave me assassination. Noun. The action of assassinating someone.
You don't
There
say.
you have it. Okay, but what's
Good
And
move.
that's that on that.
so? What's the definition of murder? Maybe they'll shed some light because that's maybe we need both to really draw a conclusion.
We're using Merriam-Webster because
Well, that's the very best.
Leader of country, straight iced.
Okay, to murder, in parentheses, usually a prominent person, by sudden or secret attack, often for political reasons.
Is that
or to
assassination?
injure or destroy unexpectedly or treacherously.
So that's assassination.
Right.
So
So,
what
it
is-
says often for political reasons, but it doesn't specify, like, it has to be for political reasons.
What does Merriam-Webster say about murder?
Oh, hold on.
Just maybe it's like not often for
It's
political
murder is probably in the synonyms. Yeah, it
That's a
is.
good point.
Boy. Murder, the crime of unlawfully killing a person, especially with malice. Something very difficult or dangerous when you're being dramatic.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand, straight. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, straight.
just
drop.
fucking ganks.
And then the third definition is a flock of crows.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
What? I wonder who came up with that. Like, oh, those spooky black birds. What do we call it? What? There's a group of them.
Ooh.
Let's call them a
A
murder.
murder of crows.
Ooh.
It's probably got to do with Edgar Allan Poe somehow.
Everything has to do with Edgar Allan Poe when murder's involved.
Everything?
He married a
Everything.
He
16-year-old
committed
Cumson.
every single murder. Edgar
Conspiracy
Allan
theory.
Poe faked his
He
death.
faked the
And
Zodiac Killer.
He's been committed
It's not Ted
every
Cruz,
murder.
guys. It's Edgar Allan Poe.
Damn. My favorite murder is gonna have to like go back
Yeah.
and do a big correction.
No. We bring the truth out. We usurp my favorite murder.
We now become Serial, the podcast where we investigate the difference between murder and
Welcome.
assassination.
Cereal. Dun, dun, dun. I
Today
can't
for
do it
breakfast,
now.
I had...
There's actually a podcast out there. I think it's Justin McElroy does it. But a podcast where they just eat cereal and talk about it, and it's like this
Honestly?
meditative, like
to get to hear the crunching. Is it an AMS?
Oh, is it an
ASMR?
ASMR podcast?
I think it's like a cereal review.
Oh,
type thing.
Cereal
that sounds
review.
so good though.
Speaking of cereal, this is
Speaking.
something I saw recently. There's a Sour Patch Kids cereal.
What?
How gross does that sound?
That sounds
Ew.
awful.
That sounds like Trix, but like
That's just.
worse.
Why would you put something sour in milk?
Milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what? Because that's like when you forget you put lemon in your tea and then you put cream in and it just curdles. Like,
Yep.
That's the worst.
What a word. Curdle.
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 Abraham Lincoln, straight kicked.
I thought you were gonna say curdle.
John F. Kennedy, curdled to death.
Straight up publicly curdled.
Kids, get on this. This is the new slang. You want to kill someone? Use the word curdled.
Hey, baby, you want to curdle later? Do you mean cuddle? No, do you want to curdle?
So gross. Netflix and curdle.
All right, we finished Big Mouth. What are we doing now? Let's go kill someone.
No,
Netflix and curdle.
no, I mean, oh my god.
We do not endorse any curdling.
Oh.
Unless it's of, like,
Curdling,
people you really need to curdle.
No, curdling of any kind, I'm going to say, hey,
Yeah.
curdle, don't do it.
I'll definitely downvote that one for sure.
If you got a good reason, I'm not gonna say never say never. Justin Bieber said that, I think.
Okay,
Was that the Justin Bieber movie?
Yeah, it was from a legal standpoint.
Oh yeah, I don't endorse that. That was a joke. That was a bit.
Satire or something.
Yeah, this is satire. It's
Sure.
yeah.
What else we got on the list? What else is we got a list here?
I just
I've
wrote down
gone through a couple things.
the word chickens. Like
Chickens?
it means something.
We can talk about chickens.
Yeah, let's talk about chickens.
I know a lot about chickens.
I got chickens.
You have chickens.
Tell us about your chickens.
Oh, that's great.
Listeners love hearing about your chickens.
I love my girls. So my family has really wanted to get chickens for a long time because when we finally bought our house, there's like about an acre-ish in the backyard. So my dad was always like, let's get chickens. And then it took us 5 years to get them.
Well, you gotta earn the chickens. You can't
just
you can't be
just who
bestowed
we
chickens
are as
to prove you're
people.
worthy.
Okay.
So my cousin was raising a bunch of birds, and he was basically like, "Hey, I'm getting like a new batch of chicks because I had to get rid of some of my old ones. Like, do you just want some birds?" And we were like, "Yeah,
Of course."
like, so me and my dad built our chicken coop all by ourselves. So that was actually
That's really cool.
It was really fun. So we have 6 girls. Their names are Rosie, Constance, Lily, Madge, short for Margaret. Now I'm like, wait.
That's 4.
They all look the same anyway. You call them everything anytime.
How dare you?
No, we have 2 that look exactly the same, and they're Lucy and Nika. And their breed is like, it's like an heirloom breed or whatever.
I didn't know there were multiple breeds of chickens.
There
I
are
thought
so
they were
many
all
breeds
just
of
chickens.
chickens. Let me tell
Maybe
you.
that's chicken racist, but
So
I just sort of
yeah,
assumed
so the 2 we have are Dominiques.
just chickens.
So Dominiques are the ones that are like have kind of the black and white, almost like stripes.
Mhm,
They're really cool looking. We have one. I forget if I think she's a New Hampshire red. It's like a darker.
Those New England
cousin
chickens. Those suck up.
It's a cousin of the Rhode Island red. So she's like almost like maroon.
Okay.
She's really cute. And then our other 3 are, I think they're ISA Browns, so they're like a mixed breed of some sort. So I just said a bunch of chicken words that I don't really know that much about what they all mean.
Chicken words?
I just like the breeds and whatever.
Oh.
Like, I don't know that much about
You know more about
the
chickens than I do.
standards and whatever, but those are what they are.
That's cool.
And so do you collect the eggs and
Yeah, because they would eat them. If we did.
What?
It's kind of weird.
They either brood where they like sit on the eggs and they'll like peck at anyone who tries to get into them, or if one of the eggs like cracks on accident, they'll all just like eat it, the shell and everything.
Yeah.
Because they need that like protein and calcium to make the shell of the next egg.
I never knew that. Oh,
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
is that kind of cannibalism?
No. Well, no.
No, but isn't it kind of?
It's like eating the placenta after you have a baby.
I guess that's a good
There
analogy.
you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually closer to that than
Than
Yeah.
you
cannibalism.
would think.
Huh. Anyway.
How
Yeah, it's really fun. They're really cute.
many eggs a day do you get?
So they lay on a cycle of like 1 egg per every 24 hours, but because like they usually lay anywhere between like 6 in the morning to like noon, you'll get a day where the actual formation of the egg happens like later, so they don't lay until like the next morning.
Okay.
So we get like about on average per chicken like 6 to 5 eggs a week. They're laying a lot less now because it's winter, but
Right.
since this is like their first year of life.
Sure. Wow.
They lay through the winter since they're still young. Next winter, if we wanted to get them to keep laying, you have to like put up like a special
Like an infrared thing.
like a light and give them like corn and a bunch of stuff to keep them laying. So
I see.
And do you sell the
sometimes-
eggs, or?
Well, we do mostly to like people at my dad's like work and stuff like that. But sometimes the eggs freeze if they're out too long in this weather.
Right.
So then you have to basically like cook them right away because they're freezing like creates little like micro fractures in the shell.
Right.
And then bacteria gets in. So if you don't cook it right away, you're basically just asking for trouble.
Well, but an unwashed chicken egg will last like months, right?
Yeah, it absolutely will.
Refrigerated or just?
No.
Room temperature.
Straight up
So
not.
it's like a.
I'm
what's
the
it
only one
called?
with no knowledge of chickens in this room.
There's
I guess.
like
A film on the outside, like a
there's a blush or something. There's a word for it that I can't remember now.
yeah.
But it protects the egg until you wash it off. So once eggs are cleaned, they have to go into the fridge. But we leave our eggs out like on the counter, like next to the fruit and bread and whatever. Like if they haven't been washed off, it can last a couple months. Just sitting out.
I can edit things.
Okay.
You can make it louder in post.
That's what I'm doing with the last episodes.
I don't know how bits work. But I didn't know that, and then I went to school and found that out.
Yeah, what's your chicken experience?
Yeah.
What?
Like, do you see chickens very often? I know you hang out with sheep and stuff.
So this one time at school, I was on farm chores, and my job was to let the chickens out. Like, they'd go into the coop at night, and I let them out during the day into the fenced-in area, and then they'd, do their thing, and then come back at night.
Stuff.
Yeah, eat stuff.
That's really what all they do.
But these are meat.
Same.
These are meat birds. You're talking about layers. We're talking about meat birds.
Are they raised differently? Layers
Yes.
versus meat birds?
Yes. These birds are raised for like bulk. Like you want them.
You want fat chickens.
They want them to get as thick as possible, as
Thick.
quick as possible.
They can quit.
So
They can quit.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so they're they're free range. They're like organic. They're treated nice. We're not like an industrial farm here, but go for it.
sorry, that was really
And
Big spike.
I'm eating the last Timbit for the record.
and so it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I go out and do the thing, open up their gate, make sure their water's filled, spread some grain in their thing, and go on to the other animals. And I come back to the barn from doing that, and they're like, "Oh, did you just let the chickens out?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do that. I've done that every morning for like a week now." And they're like, "Oh, but they're going to processing tomorrow. We got to keep them in the chicken coop because we got to go. Can you shoo them all back into their thing?" Yeah, I guess I can go do that. So it's like corralling these chickens back into their coop. It's really hard.
It is hard.
And they're so I used to think that all chickens had the same personality. But I realize that's like a stereotype. But they somewhat look like they all have the same personality. I don't think they have like the same voice, and they're like looking around and like pecking at things and like. Anyway.
Isaac's doing chicken impressions
really,
for those of you who are listening, which is all of you. He's like moving his head and bopping like a chicken.
They really all have a personality, and
They
it's
do.
so weird. You don't notice it until you really just sit down and like look at them all. Like,
Yeah.
We didn't name ours right away when we got them. Because we kind of were like, well, we named Rosie right away because I basically picked her out.
Aww.
Like, my cousin was like, well, I didn't get the chick I wanted, but I have like this one. It's the only one that I got. They were just like, here, do you want this? And he was like, I guess so. So I went over, I basically I picked her up, and I was like, this is a nice chicken. And he was like, yeah, you can have her if you want. And I was like, I do.
Look at all those
Look
chickens.
at
I was trying to decide if I wanted to pull up that vine and play it real quick.
I say that literally every day when I go outside to check on the girls. I just open the coop and
It's
I'm
the
like,
little things
look
in life.
at all
It's
these chickens.
And does it ever get old?
No.
So I
It's
shoo
so
them.
funny.
I shoo them back into the pen, and go about my day, and they all get back into it because they can't eat before they go to processing because then they have
Right.
food in their stomach, and
It's
that
not good.
could get bacteria. Anyways, we're able to do some processing on our farm, but we can't do all of it. Some food regulation sort of inspection type stuff. So sometimes we're able to do it, and sometimes we send him out to a butcher or whatever, and he does it for us. And then I think it was so maybe that happened on a Monday or Tuesday, and then that Sunday for brunch we had chicken and waffles.
Nice.
So you sit down for meals and you're eating these chickens
It's
who you've known.
Oh,
I wonder if this is
Yeah.
Sally.
Yeah.
they don't have names.
That's
Their
true.
names
You
are
get attached. You get attached.
their
Yeah,
names
you
are
don't-
Nugget and Wing and
Yeah, that's the way you gotta do it if they're not gonna be friends.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
yeah. So that's my chicken story,
Nice.
I guess.
I'm kind of afraid of chickens.
Most people
They're
are,
just-
I've found. They're like
There's something unnerving
dinosaurs.
about them.
They're
They're very close. They're like in the evolutionary
That's true.
line. They're very related to dinosaurs, and you can see.
Well, apparently, velociraptors were like chicken-sized, which is super disappointing.
Honestly, I can see it.
Like Jurassic Park, you've got these terrifying, fast dinosaurs that'll kill you. And then
Dude, you've never had an angry rooster coming after.
That's true. I mean,
you.
they are.
if I was being
straight
chased by a
cops.
chicken, I'd also.
Like, roosters are all like. I know we shouldn't anthropomorphize and like put emotions behind.
I'll be
things that
honest. I don't
animals
think we
do.
have any chicken listeners. We're not gonna.
Chickens can and will do evil.
No.
Like, that's all I'm gonna say. Some of them are just absolute bastards.
I play Legend of Zelda. I know.
That's right.
In every game except Twilight Princess, if you beat a chicken, they'll kill you.
Yeah.
In Twilight Princess, if you beat a chicken long enough, you just become the chicken.
In real life, if you beat a chicken, the rest of the flock will kill you.
Are they immortal? Like, can you also not do anything against a swarm of chickens? Is swarm the correct word for?
It doesn't really hurt when they peck at you unless they like
Unless they
hit
really want
something. Yeah. Well, because my girls are nice, but they're not very smart. So when I wear nail
That's what
polish,
they say about me.
like
to.
it kind of looks like a beetle, because they
Oh.
free range and they eat like bugs
Yeah.
and stuff in our yard. So I'll go to like give them something and they'll see like the glitter on
Uh-huh.
my nails and they all just like zone in on it and try to eat it. And I'm like, hey, this has been great. Not.
No.
But their nails actually are really sharp
On the talons?
on their feet. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Chickens have like a lot of blood vessels in their feet too, like because in the winter they don't like feel cold until it gets down to like 20 degrees or something. Like they can be out in like ridiculous
Yeah.
temperatures because they just got all that blood.
I'm always afraid of getting a scratch, like by their foot, and then that like it's really dirty,
It's
and then that
gonna
getting infected or
absolutely get
something.
infected.
That's mostly what I worry about with the chickens,
Yeah.
but
I don't really pick up mine unless I have like a reason to.
yeah, it's
But
probably for the
but
best.
some of them like don't mind. You can just kind of like scoop them, and the other
Pick 'em
ones,
up.
yeah, the other ones like run away whenever you try to touch
Yeah.
them. But
I mean, I would too.
yeah, to
Chicken
be fair,
chasing.
if a giant chicken tried to scoop you up, you would run too.
Is that what they think we are? Big chicken? Like
I don't
cats
know.
think their
Cats think we're
owners
big
are just
cats.
Well,
big
cats
cats.
think we're big dumb cats.
Like, here, I brought you this. You can't hunt for yourself.
Speaking of which, this morning, oh my god, we have kittens from like a rescue that
Mhm.
we're basically like taking care of until someone adopts them. And the one, like, it's so cute when you have a kitten that's like at that age where they're still like small, but they're learning how to like hunt and play and stuff.
Mhm.
Because I went to pat one of them and he just started like licking my hand, like grooming me, and then he was like wrestling and like playing with me, like as if I was like another kitten, and it was the cutest thing ever. Like,
Cats are good.
Sounds like you
baby.
adopted them.
I just.
This is the first episode in a while my cat hasn't hung out.
Oh yeah, where's Emma?
She's asleep probably somewhere. She's mad at me because I'm making a podcast instead of hanging out with her,
Aw.
Yeah.
which is usually the case. She yelled at me this morning. I was making a cup of coffee and she was just yelling at me because I was making sure I would stay
Hey,
awake instead of
you, stop making that cup of coffee.
pet me right. I need attention
Hey.
right now. There's another bit I wanted to do. It's not gonna go great for the listeners, but have you seen the Sonic the Hedgehog movie poster?
No.
Okay, so I just want to get your reaction.
Are you bringing up a visual?
Oh,
Okay.
God.
This is gonna be great.
It's real bad.
I've heard he's got like human legs.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is the
They
worst
really just
poster.
did
Human
that.
feature. Okay.
Isn't that gross?
That's. Let me describe what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, like you did with the meme. Do it.
What meme? Oh right. We got the Brooklyn Bay Bridge.
Oh, that's
That's San Francisco.
We got the
Golden
we got the Arc de Triomphe right here.
it's a European journey for Sonic.
We got the bridge over the River Kwai going on.
It's just there's no Sonic. It's just a bunch of like landmarks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Looks like there's the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, if you look really closely over on the side, you can see the Great Wall of China.
And if you look-
Right.
If you look in the top right corner, there's us making a podcast.
Meta. He's got some what looks like Air Jordans on.
I think they're Air Knuckles actually.
Looks like hasn't shaved his legs in a while.
They're so human-like.
He really
like that's just a man's legs with blue spray paint.
He's got some calves.
He really does.
Oh my god, this reminds me of the. You ever seen the Instagram? It's called
Hot dogs with
Hot
legs.
Dogs with Legs on a Beach. Oh my god,
That's a good
so
one.
funny.
Man, I love seeing sandwiches on a beach.
God
I'm pushing my agenda.
Martin Luther King Jr. and the Bullet Mystery.
What?
Throwing back to the assassination jokes.
And this is the point of podcast where it just becomes chaos and we just say bits. You want to say Jerry Seinfeld for a little bit? You want to bring that back?
Mountain.
The B movie.
Did you guys see that meme? Because everybody's been posting the 2009 versus 2019.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to do that.
I know I dated this episode, but
Well.
did you guys see that egg? By the way.
Oh, have you seen the egg?
What?
You don't know about the egg?
Hold on.
What are we
Actually,
talking
okay,
about?
while I pull up the egg, let me.
You know I
dumb meme
don't.
myself.
So the most
Um,
liked photo on Instagram is a picture of, I think it's Kylie Jenner's kid.
Baby.
Egg?
Oh,
Baby.
Well, so it was an egg.
And
We're all
it had
eggs at
18
one
million
point.
likes. And some guy posted a picture of an egg on Instagram, just an egg, literally just an egg.
Yeah,
Okay.
This egg.
Here it is.
And said, I want this to be the most liked photo on Instagram.
That's
and
an
within
egg.
like 10 days, it's how many likes we at now?
Yeah, what is it at?
It's at 45 mil. Is that million?
Million.
45 million.
So it went up on-
It went up
700,400.
like
It
2
like-
million from when we were talking about this yesterday, because wasn't it at 43?
It doubled in a day. It went from 18 million to 36 million in a day. And now we're at 45 million.
So that's over 2 times the entire population of the state.
The
of New
caption
York.
Yeah,
says,
we-
social media is powerful. This egg will never have to work a day in its life.
But like this is the start 2019 is off to is
The egg.
the
Right.
the most liked photo on Instagram
Okay.
is an egg. Just like it's not even any egg. I mean it's just an egg.
An egg.
Apparently one of my friends tweeted out there's an all eggs matter Instagram page with like a white egg that's trying to
like a.
so that's a thing.
That's awkward.
That makes me feel weird.
So that
Like,
so okay.
everyone's trying to cash in on the egg
That's-
fame now.
that's not-
The eggs had its time. Let's not.
People are selling T-shirts probably.
The guy's selling T-shirts.
Yeah,
a different
he is.
T-shirt every day, and each day is a different charity that the money goes to,
That's
which is
a good
cool,
cause.
'cause
I
he's
like
got
that.
45 million people who are going to buy this shirt.
I'm not gonna be able to find this now because I retweeted too many things.
We're looking at memes.
I was gonna pull up a meme, and
Meme.
now I can't remember if it was on Twitter or if
Review.
it was a tweet that got. Oh my god! If it was a tweet that got reposted to Tumblr because there's really like 3 people making content, and we're all just
Yeah.
reposting it on different
I
platforms.
love when it goes over to format and you're like, what? This is obviously a Pinterest pin on a Tumblr form, and then it
Right.
copied into a Facebook,
And
then,
now
like,
someone tweeted it. And,
you see all the different like frames that's in it.
I think I found Big Chungus.
oh no!
I went too
This
far
is-
down.
Yeah, what's up
The
with
last
that? What's
couple
up with the
episodes,
big?
I don't know the
what's up
origin of
with
Big Chungus, but
Big
Big Chungus
Bunny
just has several.
I don't know the origin of Big Chungus
It just
either,
is-
but
it just
both
is.
my partner and my brother have my picture in their contacts saved as Big
His
Chungus.
Big Chungus, good.
That's silly.
The meme I was gonna say. So it was like 2009 versus 2019, and in
Mhm.
2009 it was the lady in the bee from the Bee movie, and in 2019 it was the poster for Bumblebee with the girl in
How
the
you
car.
mentioned-
Everything comes around.
Everything always comes down to the B movie on this podcast.
We bring it back to the B movie.
I mentioned Jerry Springer once,
And
and we got on this stupid bit.
No, that's not as bad as yesterday when I saw a book by L. Ron Hubbard, and
Oh,
I was,
and-
I, and
Do you
I
mean
was like,
Albert
"Isn't-"
Hubbard?
No. L. Ron Hubbard, the guy who created Scientology, and I went, "Isn't that the founder of Mormonism?"
Oh.
And the lady in the bookstore heard me and was like, "Oh, Albert Hubbard," and I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, first off, L. Ron Hubbard is Scientology.
I
Albert
know,
Hubbard's the right
I know,
call. I think
I know.
it's like
Joseph Smith.
Joseph
Yeah.
Smith.
Joseph Smith is Mormonism.
I'm not a smart
Joseph Smith saw
person.
Jesus
Or Brigham Young.
in America.
I-
Well, Brigham Young,
Brigham Young took
continued
over,
what
yeah.
Joseph Smith, but
It's-
Joseph Smith saw the golden tablets and was like,
In his backyard.
Anyways,
What a-
in New
what a
York,
cool
though,
story.
right?
Right,
Didn't
in,
that
like,
happen
Rochester.
Oh, really?
Or upstate New York.
This is upstate New York somewhere.
Like Watertown-esque.
Well, but upstate New York is everything but New York
Oh,
City,
okay.
so... From upstate New York. Oh, cool.
Oh, you mean the whole...
How far away from the city are you? Like 9 hours? And they're like...
Yeah, one of my friends, she texted me and said, hey, I'm going to be in
open.
New York City on Friday. Do you want to come down? I'm like, no, that's like
No,
a
that's
state away.
I'm about as far away from New York City as you can be and still be in New York
yeah,
State.
honestly, like,
We're 30 minutes from Canada. Like,
Like-
what do you want from me?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
God, that just made me think of the part in Steamed Hams where he's like, I'm from Utica, and I've never heard that term before.
Oh, the Simpsons thing?
Yes.
I
Oh
don't know
my
what's-
god. Of
what's-
course, yes.
What is this?
Steamed. Oh my god. Do I have to pull up Steamed
No, we
Hams?
can't watch a video on the... This is...
You know I don't know
this is an
anything about
audio
the internet.
But no,
format.
but then they could hear Steamed.
We have gone
Hams.
multiple episodes into, hey, let's describe this meme audibly.
Well,
Like,
because you saw the thing with Trump in front of like the 300.
have you seen the Trump with
I
the...
mean, yeah, that's why I made the
Yeah.
hamburger
Well,
joke.
everybody's making.
Well, it went up from 300 to 1,000 birders.
Everybody's
Birders?
editing Skinner from Steamed Hams.
People
Oh, that
birding.
makes
into
sense.
the
Birders.
Yeah. All them orgers.
Put a bird on it. Because I know that's what they love to eat. Yes, college athletes love. Anyways.
Oh, man, I love being
Also,
in
did
shape.
you see that there was literally no thing to drink there? There was...
Yeah,
You couldn't see a
actually.
single thing to drink on that entire table.
My favorite is like the Sterling gravy boat full of like the nugget sauce.
Sterling gravy boat?
Yeah, like the
Sterling Silver.
like the
Oh,
the table setting.
Right. You're using probably 100-year-old like fine china.
There were a couple tweets about it.
Nugget sauce.
My two favorite tweets were like a president buying 300 hamburgers is a set piece in a movie where a kid becomes president.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And then the other one, this was my personal favorite, it's the photo of Trump with, the stuff in it. It says, well, this is the picture a time traveler would see and realize they messed up something in the past.
like, oh shoot.
We gotta go back.
Do you have Instagram?
Yeah.
Can I show you memes from my college?
Yes, please.
Which we're not going to name. Because
The college that I go to, there's a few people that make memes.
Isaac University. It's crazy.
Redacted.
From Thanks. And I'll show them to you, and I'll see
Yep.
if you get them. This is a new experiment.
I'm going to need you to
with this.
describe the memes for the listeners. People are going to be confused. Listeners, we're looking up memes right now, so I'll just talk.
Just chill. Just chill.
Or I could cut this all out. We could just cut to when we found the memes.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you have anything else
Is
on
it-
your list
is
of
it?
bits?
What?
Death. Because we were talking about natural burial yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at McDonald's.
Snack. That's nope.
It's the that's smiles back children.
What?
That's literally one of the oldest jokes. That
Yeah.
I've known.
I'm glad I didn't, because I've been saying that. I'm glad I didn't come up with it.
Yeah, no, that's like second grade.
Okay, good. Whoa, what? That was second grade?
I don't know. It's really like early elementary school.
Oh god,
stuff.
psychopaths exist and they're
I-
children and chickens.
Yeah, but I was on a weird bus route because I lived in an apartment complex, so
Oh, that's
there
right.
would be like kindergartners like swearing and getting in fights and stuff, and I'd just be like, nice.
Okay.
All right, we got a meme
Sorry,
described to
this
us.
is
I was
funny.
like,
Wait, hold on.
Boop-a-doop-a-boop,
Okay.
meme time.
Meme.
review.
What does it say? Somebody say.
So the caption says, when you're a high AF and talk to a tree but it doesn't talk back, and it's a picture of Frodo from the film series The Lord of the Rings, and it says, all right then, keep your secrets. We don't endorse illegal activities on the show, but that is a very good
But
meme.
aren't we getting recreational marijuana in this state soon?
Are we?
Okay,
blame
say
the
it, but don't say the
baby.
college name. Okay, can you do that?
So it's the cheating boyfriend meme. The cheating boyfriend says Isaac's school on it. His girlfriend says literally any other poems, and the girl he's looking at says "Wild Geese" by Mary Oliver. Do we need to read that poem on the poem? Because you mentioned it a couple times. Do you want to read that real quick for us?
No, I think it's funny.
Uh,
I think it's just funny.
All
that
right,
that's what-
listeners, you'll have to go.
no,
look for
I need to.
yourselves.
No, it's a good poem. You gotta. It's like a 20-minute long poem.
Just kidding. That's our next episode. It's just Wild Geese. Stage dramatic rating of Wild Geese. Episode 19, or I guess no 18. This is
Yeah,
episode
we'll do-
17 right now, because it's the Dancing Queen episode. Even though Isaac tried to shut me down. It's the caption says "Choose wisely," and it's an iPhone X for $999 and an adult llama for $950. Llama's the
I
obvious
mean,
choice,
it's a
right?
deal.
You can make money off llamas, like
Right.
selling their wool and
It's
stuff.
so great.
Yeah, honestly.
Alpaca wool is better, but and llamas are crazy evil.
Yeah.
But
Oh, this other account is private.
Look,
That's a
I'm
bummer.
gonna be real. Llamas are chaotic neutral.
I don't know what that means.
discuss
but
the
okay.
alignment of our favorite animals.
Hold on, let me make
No,
a chart.
we're at 50 minutes. We don't have time to discuss this.
This one is very, very perfect for me.
So it's
Another cheating boyfriend meme.
a cheating girlfriend.
It's a cheating.
Everyone cheats. Equal opportunity.
We're equal opportunity.
The
cheating.
girl says she's being pulled away by college parents and capitalism, and the guy she's sort of eyeing says running away to live in the woods. It's just Isaac. It's just Isaac.
God, I wish that were me.
That applies to me.
Of course, you're gonna go live in the woods.
Yep.
This might be one of our last episodes before then. So, how you feeling about going to the desert? You got those permits yet?
I'm gonna show you this one, but don't say it because I don't want to put that teacher on blast.
All right, let me see. Listeners, I wish we could show you, but
I can't say that one out loud.
you're just gonna have to imagine it's really funny. It's sure a really good meme, and you can laugh with us. So Isaac, when do you leave for the desert to get some desserts?
Hold on, there's another one here.
We're not getting my questions answered. We're at 51 minutes and we're just looking at memes. This is what Catchupcast has devolved into. Matt, I hope you're happy that this is that our first guest appearance is just memes.
I wouldn't have that.
You can say this one.
So it's a man with his ears covered. Oh, he's having like an angry time, and it says when you're watching a movie and have to step out of the room after witnessing a scene, or an eagle was shown, yet a red-tailed hawk noise was played. Honestly, yeah, because they always use red-tailed hawk sounds.
Oh, those Foley artists, they don't get it right.
Isaac, have you seen Infinity War?
What?
Have you seen Infinity War? Okay, so it's a Marvel movie, and at the end, Thanos is sitting. It's supposed to be this alien planet, and like weird plants all around, and then just a loon call plays.
Yeah.
Like a very loud loon
Whoa,
call.
you know I love loons.
I love loons, but it's so
Everyone
Where?
loves
In
loons.
Infinity War?
on this alien planet.
There's one person that doesn't love loons.
That's
Well,
true.
You
yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
We all know.
You know exactly what I'm talking
We
about.
have a friend who doesn't like loons. Now you know
But
it
she
too.
doesn't live anywhere that has loons now.
No, she's just
so.
afraid of loons.
She's free. She's
They can be
free.
on the coast in more
Yeah,
southern
but when
areas.
she's in the middle of a city.
That's
like,
true.
Hey,
They
we
won't
never
be
know.
loons,
Loons have
I mean,
their own agendas.
That's true.
They'll take us
They're
out.
so beautiful.
Loons are so beautiful. I was on a paddleboard one day this summer, and a loon just flew by. It was big, and I was like, "Whoa, it's a loon!" But
Great story.
that's my story.
That accent says a lot about you. The way you said, "Oh, there's a loon."
Oh, there's a
It's
loon
the
there.
Midwest coming out of me.
God.
I feel like we should wrap this episode up. We're at 52 minutes.
I
Nah,
was
we
gonna
keep
try
going.
to make like a
Hour and a
Thanos-
half. Let's
or
do it.
A Thanos
We're not-
joke, but
You want to do an hour and a half episode?
Yeah, come on. Why
I
not?
missed my chance to say. Oh, hold on. You can't see this, listeners, but I'm
They're
balancing
balancing
a
pencil.
pencil on my hand, and I'm just gonna say it perfectly.
As all things should be.
Perfectly
Oh, no,
balanced,
dude.
as all things should be.
Do we actually want to go for an hour and a half episode?
We just go for whatever we need to go for.
I
There's
mean,
no
my
reason
mom's not picking me up until 2:00, so.
So
There's no reason to
that's
to-
true. We have a guest.
You know what I'm
We can do a
saying?
longer episode with a guest.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
acceptable.
Do you guys want to talk about water cremation?
Water cremation. What
I
is that,
would.
dude?
You guys have this conversation.
Right.
I'm gonna leave again.
Are you gonna get more water?
I have to pee.
Oh, okay.
In a way, is gonna get more water. Okay. There you go. I don't think I. You know when you're like flicking through things and you accidentally hit the thing and you're like,
Yeah.
oh no, I didn't want to favorite that
It's-
person's thing from 2 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially when you don't know who they are or what one. You're like, water cremation.
Yeah. So.
Not to change the topic drastically.
So, water cremation. So in a traditional flame cremation, it uses a ton of natural gas basically to burn off all the fatty tissues, and then you're just left with really crunchy, crumbly bones.
Crunchy.
Really crunchy. We love the crunch.
ASMR bone podcast.
So in some states, after a flame cremation, you're actually required to put the bones through what is called a cremulator.
Cruncher.
Yeah, which is literally like a big industrial blender.
Oh.
So then you get
Will it
powdered
blend bone
remains
edition?
instead of chunky. You have to, depending on the state, you either get smooth or chunky cremated remains.
Okay.
So another opportunity for that is because, say, you're thinking about the environment, your impact you want your body to have, like you release a lot of, obviously, like gases, smoke, mercury from like fillings, like just minerals in your bones, that too, in a traditional flame cremation. So they've come up with what is called aquamation, water cremation, or alkaline hydrolysis. So basically, instead of putting you in a big flame chamber, they put you in basically like a thing of hot water with like lye and other chemicals.
Like a soup.
And it dissolves all the flesh and fats off the bones, and then you're just left with very, again, thin, brittle bones. Okay. So then you can just crunch the bones.
Crunch.
The water can go like through the sewer system.
Crunch the bones.
And everything. They basically, it's like a bath. It's like one last spa treatment for your corpse. And then they can just put the bones through the cremulator the same way you would with a traditional flame cremation. So you still get the same basic powdered remains. It's just, they're more white instead of gray because you don't have all like the char and
sure.
So you still get your crunchy bones, but it takes a lot less time
Sprinkle
and it takes
things.
a lot less natural gas.
Huh. Good for the environment.
Yeah, it is.
I guess so, yeah.
It's really popular for pets, but it's not legal in the U.S. nationwide.
Why not?
So I don't, because
statewide.
Honestly, it's because there's a big funeral industry and people and corporations make a lot of money off upselling you on things that you don't need.
That is capitalism.
It really.
We've talked about this many times.
Yeah, we are not fans here at Catchupcast. We are not sponsored by capitalism.
Hey, FBI, don't.
FBI, shut down right now.
It doesn't work that way. I hope you know that.
It actually, a lot of FBI employees aren't getting paid, but they're still at work.
They still have to be at work.
That's
they're still
anyway.
They're still watching it.
Anyway, so big funeral.
Yeah, but they're not getting paid, so they're not.
Okay, yeah,
doesn't want us to bring alkaline hydrolysis to a lot of places, so it has to be legalized like on a state-by-state basis. But actually, one of the people that I used to work with who did like dog grooming at Redacted, she actually owns like a pet funeral home.
Okay.
So she left Redacted to go and basically, start growing her own business. So I believe she does alkaline hydrolysis for pets.
Wow.
There, so you get about the same amount of remains, and put it in your little cute urn.
Crunched bones.
but it doesn't take as long. It's more environmentally friendly, and it's not as dramatic, is what I will say, because just the sheer drama of it.
You don't get to see the funeral pyre burning up into the atmosphere.
Flame cremation is godly. But just like putting the body in a tank and then filling it with water for 2 hours is
kind of weird.
Is not as exciting.
It's not as lit.
But it doesn't. Hey.
Get one last chance to make that fire mixtape. and then you're out of the world,
So it doesn't pollute the air or anything like
Catchupcast.
that. So that's Aquamation, and I can't wait for us to have it because it'll be really great.
It's great.
Can I pose a question?
Yeah.
That's like.
I'm scared of what you're gonna say. But
what do you guys want to happen to your body when you die?
That's great.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Do you want to do Aquamation? Is that why you brought it up?
Mythical Morse.
Good mythical mortician.
Oh, that would be such a good podcast.
Maybe you started. Maybe that's.
Oh God, yeah.
We're not working at Redacted.
Sorry,
we're not working at Redacted. I didn't say it right.
It's okay. Yeah, as soon as I leave Redacted, I want to.
As soon as I leave expletive.
Yeah, what do you guys want to happen to your corpse when you die?
I joke around a lot and I say I want to be like cryo-frozen and like have my consciousness uploaded into a robot body. I don't think that's going to happen in our lifetimes.
Probably not.
I made this deal with my
probably
friend.
Not ever. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna just
expand on this, please.
I'm just gonna let you finish.
This is a good start.
Whatever I have to say is not going to be as interesting as whatever.
Also, we're about to be our first ever hour episode.
We've had an hour-long episode before. It's not that. I
not officially.
Made this deal with my friend, one of the friends I go climbing or worked climbing with, and we were talking about crevasses, like glacial crevasse rescue and stuff. And sometimes when you fall down into a crevasse, you just can't get out. It's too deep. It's winding. It's remote. You're probably already dead anyways.
True.
You know, recovering the body is going to be pretty difficult. So I was like, well, if I ever fall into a crevasse, you can, like, and I'm dead, make sure I'm dead first, or if you can't get me out, then I'm totally cool with just being left there, and my body will most likely be preserved by the cold conditions.
Well, that's on Everest. There's a lot of bodies that are just there.
When inevitably all the glaciers recede and my body is revealed once again, I'll be ready to rock and roll again.
That's the dream.
You know, and
so assuming you don't fall into crevasse though.
Oh yeah.
No, I plan on.
you got a set. You know, if you reach a certain age, you haven't fallen in. You're just going up to the Arctic and to the Himalayas.
Well, or you could fall into like an I forgot what I should really know this. A stream that's running under the crevasse. There's a specific name for it, and then that could like liquefy your body, kind of like what that does, or preserve it even more.
Yeah.
But like all of your material possessions would probably last quite a while.
Damn. You'd be the next Iceman.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Future historians.
All right, someone find a crevasse. Stab.
Let's go.
A
lot of crevasses here in upstate New York.
I'd like to, but yeah. How I would like to, if I died normally, I don't know. Probably, you can do a thing where you put a tree seed in you.
I like that idea.
Did you know that doesn't work and it's fake? Sorry, it is.
No, debunk it. Debunk it.
Yeah,
no,
so
rip it apart. Let's do it.
Yeah, so the eco urn, I think it's called, is the idea that you put like your cremated remains in the urn and then you have a little planter thingy on top that you could put a tree in. The problem is when you have remains that are left after flame cremation, it's like the last of the last of the last of like the garbage. Like, it's just powdered
The
bone.
Garbage being like me as a person?
Bone.
It's just crunched up, like...
Crunched.
It's
Crunched is the word you're looking for.
It's crunchy.
I think it's called cinnamon toast crunch.
It's just crunchy burnt bone. So there's no actual usable, like, minerals left because you've burned everything.
It's true.
So it's basically, like sharp gravel at that point.
Yeah.
So there's no actual nutrients that's gonna grow the tree. So a lot of the times either it doesn't grow, it just doesn't work. Like there's no actual meaningful.
You can't do that with my body though. Don't cremate me.
Yes,
bury me and put a
stick a like oak tree seed in your chest and it'll sprout out.
See, that won't work either. Unfortunately,
that won't work either.
Because there used to be like
wouldn't like decaying bodies produce?
Yes, but okay. So there's a tradition, I think, in some is it like Italian families or something, where it's like if you know you're gonna die, like you eat like a whole olive with a pit. Yeah, so
like in prison.
But that doesn't. Well, yeah, I'm thinking about death row, but that's fine. Yeah, but that doesn't work. Okay, so because when
it's an olive tree, of course it won't work.
It's gotta be a watermelon.
So when you bury a body in a like quote unquote green or natural burial, you bury it about 3 feet under. So that's like the perfect area for like all the microbes and worms and whatever to actually do the decomposition
Worms.
without putting like
worms.
You know, like the worms without a cement vault or any of that.
Yeah, no casket or anything.
Right. So the problem is when a body decomposes, it creates so much heat. So for the next like I want to say it's a period of between some months to a year, depending on the conditions, where it's just so hot around the decomposition site that nothing can grow. So if you bury someone naturally, you basically come back and wait for like the grass to grow back and stuff like that. You can absolutely plant a tree and harvest those nutrients in that rich soil and grow plants from your body.
Great.
But you can't just like yeet someone in a hole, like toss some seeds in there.
Toss some apple seeds on them,
like,
close it up.
Dust, brush off your hands and be like, well, check on you later, Grandma.
I really like the idea of yeeting a body. Like everyone's at a funeral, black umbrellas, like the movies. The priest is there. It was like, maybe let's say final words. Yeet, and the casket just woof.
Bucket.
Duffel kick thing. So disrespectful.
I mean, it's what he would have wanted.
We eat in life, and we shall eat in death.
And we shall eat eternally. Eternal yeet.
Doing what he loved. Being yeeted.
So what if you're water cremated? Could you be a yeet tree if you're water cremated?
Well, kind of. So the issue with water cremation is that when you have the stuff that lie in making soap, it kind of dissolves like all the fats and the meats and stuff like
Lies.
that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. What if
so,
you're saponified?
Yeah, so that's like a thing you should.
So what is that? I
like,
don't know what that is.
So there's this story of this. It's called The Lady of the Lake, and it happened in.
Like the Arthurian legend?
No,
No,
different.
not like
in-
strange women lying in ponds handing out
Well,
swords as a system of governing.
She's been lying in a pond for a while, but it happened in the Adirondacks in Clear Lake near Lake Placid. But it could have. It's debate whether it was suicide or murder or assassination.
Dun, dun, dun! Or curdling.
Well, in this case, it sounds like she really did.
She actually did
curdle.
curdle. And but her body stayed under for some reason. She was tied to something, or it stayed underwater, and it was cold. Also, the deep enough that
Lake?
What?
This is up in Clear Lake.
Yeah,
I think some campers drank water from Clear Lake,
yeah, that's fine.
but it's filtered.
And so you're
Slurp, slurp.
it's down.
Slurp.
It's cold. It's the light doesn't
Pressure.
penetrate the down that deep, so the
Yeah.
microbes can't eat it. There's no oxygen or anything, so there's nothing to eat the body. So eventually, it turns into the fat of your skin cells, and the rest of your body will eventually turn into like a soapy, waxy thing.
Yes, that's one of my favorite byproducts of strange
I
corpses
love-
left in places because it's called corpse wax.
Yeah, and it happens elsewhere too. It can happen
Yeah.
in like other things. And so some divers it's a popular place for diving.
Yeah.
It's cold, clear water.
Can you imagine you're diving like, oh my god!
That's what happened. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh my god. And it's perfectly well preserved, like very pristine.
Yeah, because it gets like this. It almost looks like when you have like cold butter, like straight out. Like if you've ever bought like one of those big
butter.
like Amish butter rolls, and it's just like really just like a big old hunk of butter.
Yeah.
Like it.
Like a butter lamb?
It's called adipocere, technically,
Yes,
is like the
yes.
fancy name for it. It's basically when all the fat just whoop out of you and
Is that a scientific term?
yeah, it
And
goes.
it gets replaced with.
Yeah, and
so-
it just goes. It looks so cool.
It looks pretty cool. But then when you bring it, they're very fragile though. So when
Right.
they brought her up to the surface, she
It
started to like fall apart.
cracked.
Like if you take a
and
mummy
stuff.
out. As...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually okay.
What
So
are our thoughts on mummification?
I actually have a hand cream that's called adipocere. Because one of the morticians, I've watched this YouTube channel called Ask a Mortician, and she runs a funeral home in Los Angeles, and one of the girls that works for her makes like she has a product called a lip embalm.
Mm.
And they make a bunch of
I
stuff like
love
that,
it.
so I bought like a moisturizer that has like goat's milk and stuff in it that's
Oh.
like an adipocere. It's really cute.
From a person?
It's not actually made of corpses. That's
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
That'd be.
But
The corpse bride, but she's just putting makeup on with.
Well, have you heard of the permafrost bodies in I think it's Svalbard,
yeah.
Norway, that have Spanish flu.
Mhm.
These are victims of the Spanish flu
And
that have
with
died.
the ice melting.
Preserved in the body, frozen, just like everything else. And when the permafrost will unthaw, who knows what that. The
Hey
theory
guys,
is
let's
that,
stop global warming so we
Well-
don't get the Spanish flu.
but
Yeah,
that Spanish
no.
flu is 100 years old, right?
Yeah, so we don't have the antibodies for it.
Yes, but it also doesn't know how to adapt to us. Our bodies have changed just as much as it might eventually catch up to us and be like, haha, I gotcha, 2019, here we go. But
Right.
So what's the first meme in 2019? It's Spanish flu.
but that would take
Throwback.
but that would take some time for
Yeah.
because those
Right.
100-year-old
it
bodies are
hasn't-
different than the.
It hasn't been mutating. It's just been chilling.
It's just been chilling,
Literally.
straight chilling. So
It's so fascinating.
isn't it
'cause
kind of cool?
it's a relic, but it's a living relic somewhere, just dormant.
That's kind of fucked up.
It's terrifying.
It's pretty great.
Could we make a vaccine for it though, like
I
scientifically?
think we
in
do
theory?
have a vaccine for the Spanish flu.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
So you were talking about how water embalming could.
Right.
We got on the body tangent.
Water embalming. No, there's an
No,
idea.
no, water cremation.
There's an idea.
No.
Water
That
cremation.
would be the worst. Can you
Okay.
imagine? Just inject additional fluids into an already rotting body.
Wow, this
So-
podcast
right.
took a turn.
So water cremation.
So that's what guests are for, is they bring an interesting perspective.
Very true.
The byproduct from it is just like a slush kind of stuff. So that water and various goos can be disposed of in the sewer system. In theory, if you wanted to like save it and like do stuff with it, like you probably could, but it's just
Probably
not 100%
toxic, no?
Not necessarily.
Depends on the person.
Well, yeah, actually, it's just because it's whatever you meet, your flesh is.
Yeah,
If you
that's true.
if you have like trace minerals and mercury and whatever built up.
I
in
often
your-
eat thermometers, so there's a lot of mercury in my body.
your body, then that'll transfer to whatever you do with it. But it's eco-friendly in the sense that it's more safe than traditional flame cremation, but it's not like the greatest opportunity for someone who wants to have like a really small carbon footprint.
Don't have any surgical metals in your body?
I don't.
No.
Because the
You
only
don't
surgery
have
I've
to
had was
tell
on my
me if
wisdom teeth.
What?
The only like major surgery I had was my wisdom teeth.
I
And
don't
that's not
have
like a metal.
wisdom teeth.
Yeah, nobody at this table. Anyways.
None of us are wise.
Well, I never
But-
had him in the first place, so I never got him
So-
removed.
The other question is what you would want to do with your surgical metals after you die.
Ooh.
You can there's a song about it. weird place to get information about it, but this guy wrote a song about what he like imagining if he died and his body decayed, but then the surgical metals were left, and somebody finding them and wondering where they came from or what happened or like
That would
where
be
this person
so
happened to.
cool.
And it turns out if you get cremated, your
Mhm.
surgical metals, chances are, if like sometimes they use titanium and like and things like that,
Well, yeah. Like,
which won't burn up in the. It's not hot enough to do that.
correct. It's not going to melt.
So sometimes they can reuse them.
Right.
You can recycle it and like give it back to the hospital and be like, here it is. Go ahead, put it in somebody else.
Stick it in someone
No,
else.
you absolutely can. That's common if someone has a hipper and you replace when you're raking like the
Yeah,
remains out of the crematory. You're just like, oh, there's grandma's hip.
Some of the other things you can't. They'll melt up like
Right.
Things like silicone breast implants, pacemakers, all that stuff usually has to be removed so it doesn't explode or
Yeah.
goosh everywhere.
Can you
So
imagine like you're just cremating someone, just boom.
That's how people...
Oh shit, that was a boob.
I mean, it would probably burst and then just
Yeah.
silicone would
It's
go
just
everywhere.
silicone.
Let
Which-
me have
it's
this
just- it's more of
comedic
a-
scene in
No,
my
the
brain.
thing that's actually going to explode is a pacemaker, and like people can die from
Well, that's true. That's
the crematory like blowing up, but
no longer funny. Sorry.
Great. But yeah, that's another thing to
Guess
think
cremated
about.
already.
well, c'est la morte.
Great.
Maybe that was the name of the episode. Is
Probably
Sailor Moore.
not.
I don't know
That's
what does
perfect.
that mean?
It's
It
death.
just means that is
In what
because
language?
French.
c'est la vie is a thing people usually say. It's
Like,
just
oh,
like
well.
that's how it be on this bitch. Or
Sometimes it be
Hey.
like that.
That's how it is.
Yeah, I keep saying that whenever I talk about death, and Ethan's always like,
Sailor Moore, because it's death. It's funny. Like it's
It's a good gag.
it's a little humor, little humor.
Keynes, yeah.
And then we have that kind of humor. Matt, I have an honest question.
Okay.
Give us a review of the B movie.
No, why are we doing this?
3 out of 5. Interesting plummet.
Climate.
My mistake is recording.
I thought Jerry Springer was pretty good on that one, though.
I
I think you did the
don't-
voice of the bee, right?
Yeah, I think
Springer?
so. That sounds right.
Yeah, and
right?
Matthew Damon as the other dude.
I didn't like the sexual undertones with the Jerry Seinfeld bee and Vanessa or whatever her name was. But one time they played that movie at Movies in the Park,
I remember
and
vividly.
it was a
Vividly.
it was a really weird experience. I'm gonna give it 3 B's out of 5.
We were watching just random YouTube videos with this group I'm in, and one of these people had never seen the B movie. So we pulled up some of the more like uncomfy scenes in the B movie and just showed her, and just watching her face sort of fall as
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld did his Jerry Seinfeld.
Every time we say the
Yeah.
word B movie, the podcast gets faster.
Maybe that's a bonus episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Catchupcast, but every time Isaac says bit, it's 2 times faster.
Yeah.
Because that's one of our...
B movie, B movie.
Like by 30 seconds into the thing, it's like completely watchable.
If you look into a mirror and say B movie 3 times at midnight,
Jerry Seinfeld will come kill you.
appears.
Anything else on the list we got?
I just have death written in all caps.
Death, great.
So we're still...
We've covered death
Yeah, wait,
quite a
Ethan,
bit.
what do you want with your body?
Yeah, you didn't tell us.
Oh, well, I made the joke about You never told us either.
Oh, I know. Because I want. Well, okay. So there's this Hozier song about decomposing in the forest, and it's really.
Is this one you played for me?
It is the one I played for you yesterday while we were at Knox, because Knox always makes me think of decomposition. So one of my friends in high school, we used to just like go to a park and basically look for animal bones, because like she had a couple like skulls and different like cool stuff, and one time I found like a carp jaw, which looks super weird.
The fish?
Yeah, the fish. It's called grass carp. And they look
Asian
so
carp?
strange.
Nope, grass carp.
No, a grass carp. That's what it's called. And so we would
South American carp?
We would call it going boning. So we would go into the woods and look for bones.
Yo, you want a bone in the woods?
So many a joke like that was made.
Good. I think that's required.
And I think her mom thought we were lesbians.
Is this?
But that's
Who's
neither here nor there.
You don't have to say, but like, do you
it's
think?
exactly,
it's exactly what I think it is.
What you think
Okay.
it is.
Right. Great. Good. That's
So
good to know.
So like if I had to pick like something like sometimes you just want to die in like a really pretty like place in the forest and like rot, and then maybe someone will find your body, but it'll be like covered in moss.
It'll be like Jake Paul, and he'll make a video.
God, I'm thinking
Topical.
more like skeletal remains. But,
Oh
you know,
my god.
that's neither here nor there.
No, but you get to be in a Jake Paul video. Like, come on.
True.
Oh, I don't know. If
Like,
we're getting pretty edgy. Whew.
didn't
All
the
right.
son of the guy who was hanging in the Jake Paul video like see that video and like realize that was his dad who was the one that?
Oof.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah,
That was
no good for sure.
real messed
We
up.
definitely gotta not condone that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the way,
Like,
if you come
we
across
condemn
a corpse,
that
don't record
Incredibly.
Yeah,
I think that's
respect
been
it.
empty every time you've looked at it.
I know, and my
When you're
glass
just getting
too,
glaze all over my thing. My family's nice red.
it. Table runner.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
It's a
I
runner.
think so.
we got
a
runner.
So if I can't rot in the woods, I would like to be buried in like a green, natural way. 3 feet under, plant something. But also, I really love coffins, like caskets.
What's the difference between a casket?
Okay, so the difference between a casket and a coffin.
Yeah, actually, I've never known. I've sort of used them synonymously.
Yeah, so
Here we
a
go.
coffin is the one that is kind of, it has the shape where it goes, the shoulder is the widest part,
Mhm.
and then it gets narrower
Is it the
towards
typical
the
vampire
feet,
one?
and it gets narrower towards the head. Yeah, it's what you
Mhm.
think of when you see like Dracula, like creaking open like a coffin. So there's a couple
I was
different,
trying to think of a
like,
Dracula movie to say,
like,
but I'm blanking.
styles.
I want to watch the B movie.
Okay.
Sorry, continue. There's different
There's
styles.
different like styles and whatever. You can have, like Catholic ones, or like for different religions. Like Catholic ceremonies, usually they have like a rosary like in the hands, and then sometimes they'll have like a cross on them.
Right.
Whatever. So you can have like different types of coffins made. I personally love coffins. They're really aesthetic. Caskets are the ones that have the split door, so you can open up the whole kit and caboodle.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can open up just the top half for
Expensive,
viewing,
too.
and they're extremely expensive, and they're also long and square. They're kind of
Mhm.
rectangular with like a dome.
And
Just chuck me in the ground. Come on.
Yeah, metal
It's
caskets
cheaper.
are extremely expensive. They sell caskets with a rubber gasket that's supposed to seal in the body, which
What?
makes them explode.
the other thing is
you
that,
take that up like, oh
Well,
god.
that's
the good thing about caskets
hopefully
though.
usually depends on where you're buried. Because if you're in a cement vault underground, sometimes it just like yeets the whole thing. But usually it kind of holds it in. If you
Use
put
the
someone
word
with
yeet
in
so
a rubber
liberally.
sealed casket in like a mausoleum or something, ooh
Crap.
boy,
The good thing
Yeah,
about
that-
caskets though.
that just blows the whole pop stand.
Good
Like,
thing about caskets though is if you have an old car, you have the little adapter thing that you put in, and you can get the aux cord out of it and play on your phone. But if you have a new car and it's just the CDs and it doesn't have the aux player,
So personally, I think I probably just want to be put in a coffin and buried 6 feet under. I don't need anything special.
yeah, but depending on the cemetery, to be buried 6 feet under, you might have to buy a larger plot and or get a cement vault, because technically They don't want sinkage in the ground.
Okay, Darth Vader, my body.
Anything going into them.
Put me on a pyre and just woof.
It's gotta smell so
That's
bad.
only legal in 2 places in the entire United States. Did you know there's
Okay,
a
so
town in
I'll
Arizona?
go to Florida and I'll get it done.
No. There's a town in Arizona where people buy land specifically in order to have an open air funeral pyre because it's only legal to residents of that township.
Wow.
That one very specific area where you can do it, out in the desert somewhere. It's very Night Vale. But people will literally buy a little tract of land within that county or whatever in order to have an open air pyre after they die.
We just looked at each other for some reason.
Oh, I said tract.
Yeah,
But
well, that's why I
wait. I don't exactly. This is absolutely an inside joke that nobody.
No.
We haven't made this connection in our brain for several years. But somehow it still happened, and I don't know why. And I know it has something to do with being an immature middle schooler.
Yeah.
I
What
think
was
that
the
party
content?
is always there. It was a Monty Python thing,
Monty
right?
Python.
Oh,
It's
right.
you'll marry the princess. She's got huge
Tracks of
tracts
land.
of land.
I get it. I get it now. Thanks.
You see all Monty Pythons on Netflix? Speaking
Yeah,
of,
isn't that crazy?
I'm-
And the Flying Circus too, which is great.
I really want to
So
sit down and just
happy.
watch all the
Flying
Flying
Circus.
Circus.
So good.
It's such weird humor, but it's so. Have you seen the one? It's self-defense class.
No,
Oh, well, it's good. That's what I recommend. I don't want to spoil it because there's a twist that.
it's literally a 40-year-old TV show that you can spoil it.
Yeah, but the joke is really it's the shock of the joke that makes it so good.
Listeners, go watch it.
Yeah, go watch Monty Python. Oh, what's that? It's the Spanish Inquisition. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh God.
Sorry. I was gonna say something. And
Paul McCartney got assassinated. He was important enough to get
Wait,
assassinated.
hold on.
no, he didn't. Paul McCartney did not get
Still alive.
He just dropped a new album.
Are you thinking of John Lennon?
John Lennon. You know, we're all the same.
No, they're not.
They look the same.
We're all the same. They all walk across the road the same.
God.
Apparently, Abbey Road's a really dangerous road to cross.
We're all having a wonderful Christmas time.
Simply having a wonderful.
Yeah, wait, John Lennon was assassinated. That's
Right?
By a fan, right?
He's
Yeah,
cool.
but okay, that's the thing. If he can be assassinated and he was killed by a mentally ill person who had an obsession,
Maybe
with
you have to be
him,
a person of status to be assassinated.
But there's no clear conciseness on if you have to be politically important or culturally important to be assassinated. Because most of the time it is a political leader or someone who is killed
Right.
for financial or political means who is assassinated, but we still say John Lennon was assassinated. Even though really John Lennon's death was just a whack.
Catcher in the Rye. I loved when my teacher in high school was like, "We're gonna read Catcher in the Rye today." Did you know that the person who killed John Lennon, I almost said Paul McCartney.
Are you seeing a different timeline? Are you? Is your
Person who
reality
killed-
phasing?
Bernstein, the person who killed Ringo Starr read this.
Yeah.
Read this book and went crazy over it. And we're like, oh yeah, let's go crazy, let's do it. We're in high school and we're edgy. And then we read it and we're like, I don't. Where's the part that says to kill John Lennon? I don't get it.
If you read every third letter, it says on this day
Yeah,
with this weapon
Oh god.
it's fine.
in the study with the crowbar.
Have either of you guys listened to the podcast My Favorite Murder?
I've heard it's popular.
I'm
Have you
just gonna
listened to
plug My
Murder?
Favorite Murder because I really like
What
it.
is your favorite murder? Like, if you had to choose.
my-
Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
He's honestly
Yeah, that World War was something, wasn't it?
Not even in my top 10.
Not even in your
Because
top
Because
10.
it's interesting, but it's not good.
But the guy,
Yeah, but do you know how that happened? Like,
Yeah, he took a wrong
there
turn.
were
He was like-
so many things that led up to that happening.
like the guy was like, "Oh, I give up." He went to get a sandwich and walked out, and there's Franz
Yeah.
Ferdinand. Like,
the
oh, okay.
comical misadventures
Right,
of
the
Franz
side-
But that would be a really funny sitcom episode, right? Like,
The comical misadventures of Franz Ferdinand and the Black Hand.
Pills that didn't work. God, everything that
Like,
went wrong there. No, I would have
looks
to
to the audience,
say-
I can't do it. Going back to laugh tracks.
Oh god, my favorite.
Yeah,
my,
what-
my
your
favorite
all-time favorite
episodes-
murder?
I can't. Oh, that's so hard to pick just one.
Rasputin.
I mean, there's a good one.
That's a good
a good
murder.
one.
That's a really good murder.
My favorite types, I guess, of murder are usually when I'm listening to My Favorite Murder. First of all, it's really good and really funny, and they're really nice and respectful.
But listen to us first.
To victims and sex workers, and it's very important that people in true crime are respectful of the people who got murdered. Anyway.
I would agree.
Says our minute and a half podcast about eating.
Which you would think that would go without saying, that you can't be mean to the people who got murdered, but and here we are.
But, let's
if you yeet a body with consent from the deceased, it's fine. Alright? If you
didn't get a Ouija board and then get...
Right. I think the family annihilators are a really interesting type of murders.
Yeah.
There was one, and the name of the dude is escaping me, but he was living this crazy life where he got fired from his job, but he would still put on a suit and get a briefcase and go to work, and his wife had a spending habit, and they had this big mansion and 3 kids, and he had this picture perfect American dream life, but secretly he was running out of money, and he didn't want his family to know, and he just came home and shot all of them one by one, put them in the ballroom, turned all the lights on in the house, and just took the car and just left. He left, he completely started a new identity, he remarried, he was in, the top 10 most wanted, because he killed, 7 people.
Yeah, that's usually pretty
left
bad.
Left them in the house, and so it was over a month, because, lights were on, there was, stuff going, everybody just assumed, oh, they're home, neighbors started noticing, the lights going out one by one as the bulbs burned out. Because the lights had been on constantly for a month. Jeez. One of the teacher of the teenage daughter broke a window and went into the house and they found the whole mess and whatever. And then he remarried, I think. He had a wife, and he was on America's Most Wanted or something, and she was like, doesn't that kind of look like you? Haha, funny coincidence.
No,
so
I shaved today.
Right, that kind of thing where it's so meditated. And the kind of man you would have to be if I can't provide for my family, I can't face up to what I've done, so I'm just gonna burn it all down.
Yeah.
That's really crazy to me. My favorite one is probably the whole case around the who put Bella in the witch elm.
I've heard of it. I'm not super familiar with it.
Some kids in England found a partially skeleton in a tree, and it was some World War II bullshit. I don't know.
Somebody fell from a plane and died. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. I don't remember all the details enough to talk about it and not sound really dumb. So
there's a really good
Google it for yourself,
documentary
listeners.
Called Paradise Lost about these 3 little boys who were murdered.
Yeah.
And basically the town turned to these 3, for lack of a better word, emo children who listened to rock music and had books about cults and hey, these guys are in league with Satan. We're gonna accuse them, and these kids didn't do it. They were framed. So I'm recommending this film basically. It's a really good film. These guys went to prison, and people like Peter Jackson and Johnny Depp raised money.
Went to prison?
Johnny Depp should be in prison.
They saw this documentary and they raised money doing concerts and stuff with
Live Aid?
With Metallica.
Oh my God.
To get this case reopened, and they found more evidence that exonerated these kids who were accused. Wow. It's a great documentary.
A lot. There was a murder in a small town where a body was found.
It's easy to point fingers
in the
Look
yard.
At Salem.
Oh God, yeah.
Red Scare.
There was the one. This 15-year-old kid had notebooks full of teenage kid stuff, drawings, and he's I hate my dad, I'm gonna be edgy, and I'm gonna draw, someone with their head cut off, or whatever. Really dumb, 15-year-old angry, divorced child things. And there was a body found, in the cornfield or something, kind of near his house, and police immediately were just this is it, this kid has all these drawings of, he drew a titty.
It's easy to wrap up a case like that.
He's drawn a boob, and that's a crime, and, they basically just, pinned it all on this kid, and he didn't do it.
So don't draw boobs, listeners.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Thank God we're past the satanic panic. But
satanic panic.
If you're gonna draw
Satanic
boobs,
Panic at the Disco.
Make sure you're over 18.
We should wrap up. We're at an hour and a half, and I wouldn't listen to a podcast longer than this.
Wrap this body up.
Like a mummy. We're gonna
mummify it and then Ate it right into the crypt.
Thank you for listening, Matt. It's been wonderful having you.
It's been good seeing you guys.
It's
So
cool to
good
have
to
guests
be
and
here.
have a different perspective
I
from
had
just
a
our
great time.
back and forth.
Yeah, it's good to have somebody else to talk to every once in a while.
There's other people that exist.
I was absolutely thrilled to be here, and thank you all, the listeners, for listening to me ramble for about death for a little bit there. So
Yeah, hope you're having a good day.
Don't let this podcast get you down.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'd love to have other guests on
Live
the podcast.
life
I
with
like
a
this
frown
idea.
upside down.
yeah.
So smile, I think, is a less rhymey way to say that, but a little
Just remember,
easier.
you will die. So eventually,
That
someone.
was
Yeah. We were just talking about this on the last episode.
We did. Oh, okay,
I
great.
mean,
Yeah, so remember you will die.
well, but remember, you will die. So eventually, everybody's gonna forget all the dumb stuff that you did.
See, existential crisis.
That's how-
People talk nice about you at your funeral.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to just stop recording.